Hello everyone and welcome back to Nather and Deer's Guide to Everything. Today we have another Legend Forge video for you to celebrate release of the Suicide Squad, the 2021 version, and we have a character that I didn't even know exists, I'll be honest with you, in the DC universe, and that is King Shark, Nanaue as he is also known. And I mean, you can't help but love it. It's portrayed by Sylvester Stallone in the latest film, and he's got actually a fairly rich history and a really fun backstory. And so what we're going to do on Legend Forge today, where we take pop culture characters and turn them into D&D things, we homebrew a few things where possible, and I just tell you the best way to kind of replicate what they might be like in D&D. We're doing that for King Shark. I'm really excited. Let's just go to D&D Beyond.
Ratatouille, what do you got?
Bird.
Nanaue, stay off the comm.
Okay, so into D&D Beyond we go to My Characters, because that's where all my thoughts live, and we go to Nanaue just here. So this was a really fun one and quite a challenge to try and build as well. So Nanaue King Shark is the son of the shark god, quite simply, and that was confirmed in one of the latest comics. I did some research. His origin story has always been a bit kind of higgledy-piggledy in the Arrowverse, I think, like the Flash TV show or something along those lines. He was like an experiment, but we've taken some inspiration from that as well. All forms of him across his entire career in the comics and outside of them. And that's what we're building today, but the one I imagined in my head is the one from the new Suicide Squad films. That's kind of the great white stature, the hench version, and the not too smart one. So for the race we've gone for Triton, because swimming speed, because amphibious. It just makes sense. It's the closest thing to him that you can get, basically, without homebrewing an entire race. I changed the ability score increases to a double in strength and one into constitution as opposed to the charisma, despite him being quite charismatic because of how, I guess, his kind eyes, as one of the characters mentions in the trailer for him. As you can see with the speed, we have walking speed and a swimming speed of 30 feet, which is a perfect start for us. We can control air and water, and being the son of a shark god, while he doesn't display any particularly magical abilities from what I've seen, it wouldn't be out too far out of reach, I wouldn't imagine, when you get to the highest capable version of this creature. He does fight Aquaman, wields tridents and all kinds of things, which we'll get into in a little bit. We also get the Emissary of the Sea. We can basically communicate with things that have a swim speed or breathe water, which is really, really fun. We have resistance to cold damage just out the gate, and we can speak, read and write common and primordial. For our class, I debated this for quite a while. I was going to go some Blood Hunter in there just because that suits a shark character hunting for blood, but actually I think the Path of the Beast Barbarian, which is what we've gone for, does fit perfectly overall. So let's go through it. So we get a huge amount of hit points from being a barbarian. We've gone for proficiency with athletics and intimidation. Intimidation just because of what we look like. Athletics makes sense because he has an actually superhuman, unnatural, almost godly amount of strength and constitution, so I wanted that to come through, and you'll see it on his stat box as well. It really does. At first level we unlock our rage. Nanaue was said to be almost unstoppable due to his healing capabilities in battle, so we've gone for like a bloodlust, a rage mode, and I think we'll probably see that. I haven't seen the new film yet, but I imagine we'll probably see it in there. A lot of the things I read say he does have a moment like that. He's almost unstoppable. We get unarmored defense, which means we're not going to wear any armor, and he definitely doesn't in the show. He's just naked basically with just some trousers on. Reckless attack at second level as well. We throw aside all concern for defense to attack with fierce desperation. We basically get advantage against the target, but then they get advantage against us on the next turn. Second level we also get danger sense, which basically means we get advantage against dexterity saving throws we can see, so usually like spells, fireballs, things like that. Basically very battle ready. At third level we get an optional class feature, primal knowledge. We've gone for some animal handling, just to again go for that attuned with the beasts of the sea and stuff like that. For our primal path we've gone with Path of the Beast, as I mentioned before. What this does, this allows us to manifest our rage, transforming into a more bestial version. So I would imagine that while in this case we're just going to presume that we will always be in this hybrid shark form. If you wanted to actually play a character like this, you could. Maybe a Triton that transformed into like a beast mode, and that's another reason I was going to go Blood Hunter, because of Order of the Lycan. and kind of that transformation process there, the extra damage from the bite and the claws, but this worked out okay. Yeah, so if you wanted to play a Triton that could kind of transform into like a giant shark creature, this is the way to do it, and actually it's really exciting. I've kind of considered it myself. It sounds like a really fun class idea. For our ability score improvements, we've gone with a double into strength. Something to mention about form of the beast as well, we can actually make 3 different kinds of attacks. That's bite, claws or tail, but I guess for this specifically we're going to go for just the claws and the bite in Nanawe's case. 5th level we get an extra attack. We also get faster movement, so we just move faster while we're not wearing heavy armor. Makes sense, he's almost Hulk-like in the way he can move around the battlefield. Bestial Soul means we get another feature. We can basically increase our power in one capacity, so that's climbing, jumping or swimming. I went for jumping. I'm not sure it really makes much difference, to be honest, with the amount of strength we have. This is a really fun one, a new optional feature for the Barbarian. As part of our bonus action to enter a rage, we can move up to half our speed. Really, really good. Gets you on the front line nice and quickly, which is what you want as a Barbarian. We also get Feral Instinct. We have advantage on all initiative rolls, which is great. And if we are surprised, we can act normally, but only if we enter a rage on our first turn. Ability score improvement at level 8, we went for a double into Constitution because we're a healthy boy. And brutal critical at level 9 just means we do more damage if we crit. Gorgeous. Another optional class feature, primal knowledge, we've gone for nature, and again leaning into that at 1 with the ocean, the son of a shark god after all. So at 10th level we also unlock Infectious Fury, which is a really, really fun feature, and essentially I imagine this as we're a giant shark monster. Things will take damage from us. We've got jaws the size of their entire upper body. They're not going to have a fun time. So Infectious Fury, if we hit with a natural weapon, we can curse our target with our Fury. They must make a wisdom save or suffer one of the following effects. The target must use its reaction to make a melee attack against another creature of your choice that you can see. So I guess in their panic, maybe they just swing for you and hit another creature. But I think I would always go for the target takes 2d12 psychic damage. That's massive. 2d12. That's like another brutal critical, basically, if we were to get that. So basically, yeah, I'd imagine this as, I think I'd be quite distraught if I was put in the mouth of a giant shark creature and begin to get like chewed on. I'd see that as psychic damage as well as being torn in half, basically. So Infectious Fury is a really fun one for that specifically, I think, and we can use this feature a number of times, equal to our proficiency bonus. A Relentless Rage basically means we can't die. If we get hit, we make a Constitution saving throw that would take us down to 0. We go to 1 instead. We can just keep going turn after turn after turn, and when you see our Constitution bonus, you'll see why that's ridiculous. For our ability score improvement at level 12, we've gone for Constitution and Dexterity, because I think our strength is already at our maximum now. We've gone for another brutal critical, which we get at level 13. At 14th level, we get Call the Hunt, which is a really fun one, and kind of pulls your allies in and kind of gives them a presence alongside you and gives them a buff, basically, including yourself. So the beast within you grows so powerful that you can spread its ferocity to others and gain resilience from them joining your hunt. So when you choose your quarry, as long as your allies are with you, you can take them down. And this is kind of I guess a super group, a superhero team vibe, right? When you enter your rage, you can choose a number of other within creatures you can see within 30 feet of you, equal to your Constitution modifier, which is massive, minimum of 1. You gain 5 temporary hit points for each creature that accepts this feature. Until the rage ends, the chosen creatures can each use the following benefit once on each of their turns. When the target hits a creature with an attack roll and deals damage to it, the creature will roll a d6 and gain a bonus damage equal to the number of rolls. They just do more damage, basically, because they're just a lot fighting alongside us. And we can use this feature a number of times, equal to our proficiency bonus. We regain them all on a long rest. So this is really good, because I believe, spoilers, our Constitution modifier is +7. So when we use this feature, we could potentially gain 35 temporary hit points out the gate, which is ridiculous. And all our people, your entire party, are doing more damage as well. Just ridiculous and really, really fun. At 15th level, we get Persistent Rage feature. Your rage is so fierce that it ends early only if we fall unconscious or we choose to end it. We rage forever. It's persistent. At 16th level, we've actually gone for a home-brewed feat this time around. And this would be something you could pick up early or later, depending on where you want to pick it up. Obviously, in this particular case, I've just made a 20th level character, so I didn't need to really be too fussy about which order I did things in. I would probably pick this up early if you're considering trying to make a natural weapon striker. Shark God Ancestry. You have the blood of Kamo, which is his dad, the shark god, flowing through your veins. You gain the following benefits. Your constitution and strength both increase by 1, as do your maximums for those scores. Your unarmed strikes and natural weapons count as magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage, which basically means you can eat supernatural beings, you can punch ghosts. Your unarmed strikes deal bonus damage equal to your strength modifier and gain the siege property. And this is big, so it was said that Nanawe King Shark could launch himself, punch through metal, concrete, whatever the surface was, unstoppable, almost like the Hulk. So we had to put this siege property in there. He'll just smash through anything to get to his quarry. And having the Shark God Ancestry, our innate swimming speed becomes 80 feet. Pretty crazy. So if this is in a water themed campaign, you're going to be the top dog without a doubt. But most of the time there's not really a lot of water in most campaigns, unless you're doing like a pirate one or at sea or things like that. It usually comes just in sections as you're traveling. But really, really fun, and absolutely leans into being the ancestor of a shark god. 17th level, we get another brutal critical dice. That's 3 at this level. And Indomitable Might. If your total for a strength check is less than your strength score, you can use that score in place of the total. Ability score improvement, a double into dexterity to finish it off, just to get our armor class up a little bit. And at 20th level, I didn't know this feature existed. This is crazy, but equally 20th level, not many people get there. So Primal Champion. You embody the power of the wilds. Your strength and constitution score increase by 4. Or also, your maximum for those scores is now 24. So plus all our other maximum bits, it's ridiculous. Buzzing. So let's take a look at our ability scores. So we've gone with a heroic set, but equally not because of all the nerfs. It's just very physically focused. We've gone for a strength of 16, constitution of 16, dex of 12, charisma of 12, and intelligence of 6. Because, I mean, he barely even knows what a hand is in the new trailer, if you've seen it, and a wisdom of 8. So moving swiftly on, we've gone for the criminal spy background just because he is a criminal. Again, not going to use this much deception and stealth. Probably never going to use either of those. Stealth, maybe. You could probably get away with it. But let's just jump straight into the character sheet. So here we are. Welcome to Nanawe King Shark's character sheet, where you can see we have 25 strength and 25 constitution. Pretty ridiculous. When I was talking about maybe we could get an extra 35 hit points from earlier, which would put us at like, what would that be? 320 hit points if we use our Call the Hunt feature. Pretty ridiculous, but wow, fun, right? So our Form of the Beast, Bite, Claws, Tail would all be considered magical weapons due to our feet and things like that. So all of these are our primary abilities basically. And while I don't think they do that much damage, I think just with the amount that we can attack, the amount of health that we have, I think it fits perfectly. I think if I'd have gone for Fighter, it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have had that barbaric nature, that kind of more primal nature that he has about him. So yeah, that's why I think this works better. There you go. As you can see, we do have a couple of spells, and that's just from just our ancestry. I'd say you could absolutely get away with saying that he would be able to naturally not cast spells. Maybe you'd have to flavor them to kind of suit the setting, as it were. He just has an affinity for nature, right? Being the son of a shark god. And so, as you can see, this is probably the most bare character sheet we've ever had in the Legend Forge, and we didn't really need anything else. I didn't really know what else to add. There's not a whole lot. He didn't really use any equipment. It's just his raw, natural, mutated self. He's a shark humanoid called King Shark. He's the son of a god. He has ridiculous strength, ridiculous constitution, and incredible regenerative abilities. So we didn't need to do much, but what I thought I would do is add in some optionals. If you guys want to try and embody a character like this, we could add some bits in. So obviously first up, the homebrew thing I made was the Shark God Ancestry feat, which feel free to use and pick up. All these will be on D&D Beyond Homebrew. Inventory wise, there is a screenshot, and I will put it here right now, a really cool comic cover with the original version of King Shark, which is actually a hammerhead shark, holding, it looks like Aquaman's trident, actually fighting Aquaman. So I figured there's definitely in some capacity that you could say that Nanawe King Shark could use a trident at some point in time. If he was to use a weapon, it would probably be a trident. So I put in Wave, which is a legendary item from the main Dungeons & Dragons lore. It functions actually as a trident of fish command, a weapon of warning, and we can do a water breathing, and we can use a cube of force. It's a really monstrous, really powerful item. And I didn't feel the need to homebrew Aquaman's trident. Maybe we'll do that in future, but this is not about Aquaman. This is about Nanaue, King Shark, and just his raw ability. So we've gone for, you could use Wave. There's also, if you happen to own the Mythic Odysseys of Theros book, I believe it's also called Dikela, yeah, the Biden to Thassa, which also has some really fun water-themed spells, because this is the goddess of the sea. You can cast polymorph on creatures, turn them into aquatic creatures. We can command aquatic creatures as well, as long as they have a swimming speed and things like that. And when we hit, we do an extra 2d10 cold damage. Pretty monstrous, but really, really fun there. But one thing I have made, and so that perhaps a normal character could undergo this transformation into a more aquatic beast, is this, the Spark of Lorenzini. And this is an inspired magical item, or not so much an item, a procedure, literally an experiment that you would have to find someone willing to do it, maybe a mad scientist in the world. And this leans into the other origin story of Nanaue, which is about him just being an experiment almost gone wrong, which I believe, like I said, was in the Flash series. It kind of leans into that side of it a little bit, just so anybody has access to it. And the Spark of Lorenzini, so a spark just because of the electrical nature of it. There's a moment during that Flash show where he's imbued with electrical energy from the Flash, and it's just awesome. And I thought, yeah, let's throw that in. Let's make this really encompassing of all the versions of King Shark. But Lorenzini actually comes from the ampullae of Lorenzini, which sharks in real life, if you didn't know, have like sensors basically across their snout, which sense electromagnetic fields of other creatures, and that's how they sense things that are like hidden under dirt and around them. That's how they find their prey, as well as sniffing blood from miles away, whatever it might be. I just thought it was a really cool effect. So I thought Lorenzini sounds like the perfect name for like a crazy wizard or something, so I kept that bit, but I've called it the Spark of Lorenzini. So let me talk you through it. Achieved through a dangerous procedure, your physiology is altered and you gain the ability to perceive and channel natural electrical stimuli. So the Spark of Lorenzini is meant to be limited to Tritons and water genasi specifically. So if you're not one of those, you probably couldn't be able to use it just because your affinity to water before that. If you're a water-based creature, I would allow it, but I think anybody else probably wouldn't go down too well. Regardless, let me take you through it. So, achieved through a dangerous procedure, your physiology is altered and you gain the ability to perceive and channel natural electrical stimuli. Eldritch enchantment. To attune to this magic, an arcane enchanter must assist in a torturous 8-hour ritual altering your physiology, requiring the power of at least input of a 3rd level spell slot every hour. If your attunement to the enchantment ends, it is lost and you must undergo the procedure again if you wish to have it. This enchantment has 8 charges and it regains all expended charges daily at dawn. You have resistance to lightning damage, resistance to cold damage, blind sight up to 10 feet and can't be surprised, because you can always sense things around you, this electromagnetic field. It also gives you advantage on perception checks underwater, and you know the general direction of any bleeding creature within 3 miles, 5 kilometers of you while underwater. And this additional feature at the bottom is literally from the Flash series, some footage I was watching doing research for this. Flash lightning. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can expend a charge to deal an extra 4d8 lightning damage, and if you do, you become infused with lightning. Until the start of your next turn, you are immune to lightning damage, and if you are hit by a melee attack, that creature takes an extra 1d8 lightning damage. So it's a short-lived lightning infusion buff, basically, and you just repel and creatures take damage from you. And I'll put the small inspiration video up if I haven't already by this time to show you exactly what I'm talking about, what it might look like as your chest glows yellow and you emit lightning when you hit things. It's just awesome. So, having not seen the new Suicide Squad film, this is my version of Nanaue, King Shark, and how to play a creature like him, as close to him as I could think, in Dungeons & Dragons 5e. I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys would like to use my items, their feat, whatever it might be, and if not, this is just inspiration for you. If you think you could come up with a better idea, please leave it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your ideas on how I could improve the series going forwards, or just improve this particular character. Just leave some advice down below. Always looking to expand the knowledge. That's one of the beautiful things about D&D. You can never know everything. So yeah, This has been Natha and Deer's Guide to Everything. Leave a like and a comment, please, and any video requests you would like, please leave them down below as well. Subscribe if you can spare it. As I said, 99 subscribers at the moment. Fingers crossed we're at 100 by the time this goes live, hopefully. This has been The Legend Forge, and this has been King Shark. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye, guys.